Alright, this is Jason's 93 Geo Metro. Definitely a redhead. He's obviously into some mods that need to be readjusted. See, he's got the air dam. Needs to be a lot lower. It needs to almost be on the ground. But he's plugged off the front air dam. Made some plastic covers here. These should probably be made out of Lexan from like Lowe's. They'll last longer. We're going to go through the motor on it. Must have a burnt valve or something in it. Left him stranded in Seattle, he said, I think. It's a 93, I believe it's an EGR motor. Yep. I've got a head built for it. I'll put an MPG, cam, cut, grind port, blah, 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 blah on it. He's also running a data tracker. Most of you probably know it as a scan gauge. I don't know if you can see it through the window there, but I see he's tied into his injector feeds and whatnot, so he's got gallons per hour used, miles per gallon, just a bunch of data that you can get. Not a bad investment at all. I've had a few of them. The OBD2 cars are really nice because they just plug in, but wiring one in's not that big of a deal. Where else are we at on this? I'm just starting on it. I just drained the antifreeze and started taking it apart. Yeah, well, that's what we're going to do. Make her happy again. And I'll click in here and there. This will be a quick video because I've already done the head. And turn the camera on. Alright, just slapping the new water pump on here. I thought it was like brand new, but it must have a few miles on it. I see it's out. It is a GMB, so it's a factory pump. Timing belt looks good. I'm guessing it must have 40,000-50,000 miles on it. Bearing still feels good. And it's not leaking coolant yet, it's just the oil's coming out of the... it was just starting to leak, I should say. Probably didn't even notice it. But if we got into that 50-60,000, 40-50-60,000, it still had a few thousand miles left on it. I'd say that's how it's supposed to be. Usually I take water pumps out and there's some Chinese-American knockoff thing and they're trashed. It's nice to see a pump that's starting to leak and the bearing is still good on it. Alright, just pulled the head off this thing. Got a Felpro head gasket in it. Looks like just the head's been changed out. Probably had some burnt valves at some point. The rings should have been changed. That's actually what's wrong with the motor. The rings are stuck. I can see that, and then the plugs are fouled on it from oil consumption. And it's just from some Yahoo shop where they just do whatever they want, because I see they just milled the head. Not anything particular, they just cut it, which seems to be more and more common, which is ruining more and more heads out there. You can't just chop stuff up. You gotta set them up. What else we got going on here? Not much of anything. It's a little cleaner in here than I pressure washed it before I started. But yeah, so we'll get this motor tore down the rest of the way and get the new head off the shelf and go from there. Alrighty, the head's been CC'd now. So it's been CC'd, it's been milled. It's got new valves in it, and now I'll start in with the combustion chamber shaping, and then I'll port the intake side, and we'll put it all back together. You can see the old head is behind it, yeah, it'll be just like magic. Yeah, not much to be said there. And I'll grab a cam off the shelf and we'll start putting it back together. Recording, we will go. I just started a couple minutes ago. I'll be done in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Love the birding. Fun, fun, fun. The chambers are already done. You can see that. I'm not even sure you can hear me. Alright, I'm going to turn this off and get serious here. Holy smokes, almost dropped the head. Let me turn my iTunes down.
the psychiatric diagnostic manual.
Alright. So this head's... Now I do a rough polish because you don't want to do a smooth polish. Well, it's almost smooth. I'm not even going to get into the detail of head porting, but it needs to be washed out inside. But you can see how I've cleaned up around the valve guides down inside there, so it flows. The tubes are perfectly round now. It is very pretty. That's as good as it gets. If we were going to race this thing, since we're turning low RPMs, it's not a big deal, but if you were going to race one, you've got the injector port lines right here, the holes that go in right here. That's for the injectors for the Canadian models. You'd weld these up and then re-port it out so it's smooth, because that does give you a little turbulent bump. But not at low RPM when you're going for gas mileage. Into the EGR on the intake manifold here. You can see that it's completely plugged up here. So we'll get that all cleaned out. And then EGR itself is completely plugged, so we'll get that cleaned out and drilled back out so the Shia flows well. And yeah, just that's what happens when they use oil. No way around it. Alrighty, just got a set of wore out rings in this motor, not a big deal. Got your number 1, number 2, number 3s. They're all identical. Stock oil rings. So we'll get them rerun and get some bearings put in. Everything looks real nice on the motor. Crankshaft looks perfect. I don't ever know how well this works without light down there. Got my headlamp on here, but I'll get these cylinder walls lightly cleaned up, some rings on this, and get it fired back up. Cylinder walls are done. They're beautiful. I don't know if this camera picks it up. But time to stuff some pistons in. So it's been running for, I don't know, about 15-20 seconds, I guess. So it's just fired up. We're waiting for the lifters to pump up. They won't go quiet for probably somewhere between 5 minutes in the next cold cycle on it. Gotta bleed all the air out of them. I usually find it takes about 45 minutes for a Metro motor to go quiet. And that's if you've rebuilt your lifters. If you haven't, they're probably going to be just as noisy as when you started if they were. If they're not noisy, yeah, probably won't have any problems at all. And timing's not set on it, obviously. I'm just waiting for it to warm up and the fan to come on. It's going to take several minutes for that to happen. So I'm very, very happy. Got the, obviously, my, I've got my light here. You got your timing cover mark here, and then the pulley's been marked, and the crankshaft's marked, and then the timing cover's been cut down, obviously my trademark there. And now you can access the timing belt tensioner, and lot better maintenance. You can look at everything, all the moving parts on the engine now can be looked at when you check the oil and stop and get gas. One thing I noticed is the O2 sensor is a little floppy. Maybe it needs to be replaced. I think somebody changed it and then they put a socket on it. They cracked the porcelain. But if it works good, don't worry about it. What else on this thing? Not much anything. Pretty straightforward rebuild. Just high mileage. Obviously we're using a different head. Another good car out there, you know, 55 miles an hour going down the highway. It's extreme fuel economy. If you want to drive on at 65, 70, you're going to get in that 35 to 40 miles to the gallon zone, which is phenomenal at that speed because most cars drop under 20, even if they're a 30 miles a gallon car to start with. I think most people don't appreciate what it takes to get 50 miles to the gallon out of a Metro. it's 50 miles to the gallon at 50 miles per hour. So at 55 it drops down a smidge, you know, so we do a little head work and stuff. The idea is to be able to maintain that so you can go, you know, 55, 60. Yeah, just something a lot of people miss. I like this car because Jason's got a scan gauge in it, so he'll be able to play with it, and he can adjust the timing until it pings on him and back it down a little bit. I just set him at the factory specs, and you know, there's so many things to do. You can put kill switches on the alternators and on-off switches. I have clutch cancel. I have a shut my computer off when you shove the clutch in to coast. There's a lot of things you can do. You want to, if you're a tinkerer and you don't mind screwing around and looking like an old person driving around, there's a lot of gas mileage that can be had. Alright, well, this is boring me to death. I'm going to let this thing run for about an hour, get the timing belt set up on it, or the timing set on it, and then I'll probably hit it with the pressure washer one more time, and we'll be ready for someone to come pick up tomorrow. It's a good runner. Alright, let's see. Probably edit this part out. I don't know what the hat cam's... Oh, the hat cam's not going to work. Oh, it might. We'll go give her a try. Oh. Just like I'm docking the old Spaceship Enterprise. Alright. Alright, 224,824 and a half happy miles. Plenty of fuel. Temp is perfect, of course. And wait for all traffic to pass here. Never mind. Alright. And it's been running for, I'd say, half an hour. That's beautiful out today. Everything's nice and quiet already. Oh, it's like a little piece of heaven. This thing might even have new struts in it. Dun, dun, dun. Give her a check out. Speed limit's 30. We're going to drop down to 30. I assume it has stock tires on it, but I'm not sure. I should probably assume it doesn't. The throttle, okay? Let's see. 30 miles an hour. Oh, God, I wonder if this thing's calibrated on the scan tool. That's a 0.6. Oh, no, sorry, I'm on the drive here, but you can probably see that. Let's see. It should come up with like about 0.6 here. Let's see if I can gauge it here. Yeah, it's right in there. So that's 0.6 gallons per hour at 30. So you could do the math on 1 miles per gallon if it's at 60. Everybody should have it. You can put that in any kind of car. Let's see. It's going to go to 45. why it's hard to get good gas mileage. It's really hard to maintain the speed. You don't really see it until you got the standard. This thing will teach you how to drive. So look at that. We only use 1/6 more fuel to go 15 miles farther in 1 hour. So we get to go 50%. So the fuel economy is 50% better at 45 than it is at 30. This is why speed and RPM and tire size is so important. I'm telling everybody, they should definitely go Eco Mod. If you'll find the link or just go right to Scan Gauge. Come on, I don't know this way. No windshield washer fluid. Oh, we're out. Oh, there we go. Okay, oh. So now, before I run out of road here, we're in fourth gear. And I have to say, that those were in, that was in fourth gear back there in third gear, so I can think it was better. Let's see, we're going to go 55. Maintaining 55 on the virtually flat level ground. It's actually uphill a smidge. And look at that. 1 gallon an hour, just under 1 gallon an hour. Bam! That's what we're looking for. God damn it. All you knuckleheads out there that are going, my car doesn't get the gas mileage it should. And we'll fix the rest of it. Yeah, I rebuilt these engines and stuff. It's got its own little ecosystem in there. Fuel injectors, temperature switches, just the home reading being off on the computer fan switch or sending unit is usually about 5 or 6 miles per gallon on the average Geo. That sending unit has been 20 years. Expected to work for. And if this thing might not even be calibrated, we might be a little smidge better than that. But I find that this really, this body style with this injection right here on the freeway, bone stall, I can get 55 miles to the gallon, 55 miles an hour on a nice cruise, like say from Seattle to Florida. Now see, that's third gear at 50, we're burning 1.25 gallons. Let me slow down. That's about 1 gallon per. Oh, that was third gear. Yeah, maybe I said that. So now, let's roll out to 50. We're going up to also. Again, it's all cruise control needs to be put in every car to get the best fuel economy. So let's see if I can manually maintain it. Gotta slow down, gotta slow down. And keep in mind this motor is brand new, so it's going to get better. Miles. Look at that. 50 burning about less than 3/4 gallon an hour. 50 miles an hour is phenomenal. The car is set up to go 55 back in the day when the speed limit was 55. You know, you gotta slow down. We live in this fast-paced world. Everybody wants to get on the freeway and hammer down. But if you want to be a cheapskate, buy a Geo and get the good gas mileage, the penalty is if you drive slow. On that same note, if you're going slower, you're getting less car accidents, you're in less traffic because the cars ahead of you are generally driving away from you, and it's a lot safer to crash in a Geo at a slower speed. I'll tell you that right now. Look at this, I'm going to go to 30 miles an hour in fifth gear, and you get to see what's under the waters. Are really up to. Buy a Scan Gauge if you're watching this video. It's like $1.50 or something. Cheap. Got a pen and one even in this Honda. Oops, we're at 30. It's not the speed limit. It's tough to go slow. I think there's a chance that this is all off by 6% because the tire size has been altered. I didn't look to see if it had 12 or 13s on it. So we're going to go to 5th. I drop in at 30. Right there, I think I'm holding on to it. Or use it. 0.3. Let's just call it 4. So it's 4/10 of a gallon of fuel at 30. That's your fuel burn. So 30 miles, you're going to burn, what are you getting there? I'm not getting through the math. It's phenomenal fuel economy. At any rate, this one looks like it's a 50-55 miles to the gallon cruiser like it's supposed to be. And it doesn't have a switch put on the alternator yet to turn it off. It's right down in front of the semi-truck. And yeah, all kinds of possibilities. But you can see what I was trying to show you is there's way better gas mileage to be had going faster than slower. But not after 50-55. There's fuel economy up there that's really good, but you're going to find that 50 is just 50 miles an hour is fabulous. And a regular Geo Metro gets 39 miles to the gallon. It's 50 miles a gallon is nonsense. And there's not an XFI out there that's ever gotten 58. Please. Next knucklehead that sends me an email, I get like 5-10 of them a day about they want an XFI. You don't want an XFI. You end up with an underpowered engine that's terrible to drive in traffic. You can't take passengers. I mean, it's a 49 horsepower engine. These things are already just under 60. And you don't get better gas mileage by detuning them. That's why we build these motors up. This is closer to something that you would go race. In fact, this engine really, technically, I'd change the cam again if we were racing it. But this is something that you take out to your local racetrack and run as a foreign stock motor. We might put some lighter rods in it or something if they allowed it. But if they don't, you know, a little camshaft, because this cam is after gas mileage. But this is it. This is what makes them live. This car runs beautiful. It's nice and smooth. It's got that little tiny shake, but that's where it's supposed to be. Well, the Metro, this thing is just glass smooth. Jason, I think you're going to be really, really happy with it, and for whatever it's worth, it was running, before I started this little project, I had warmed the car up, but it ran like crap. Burnt like 0.3 at an idle, but that we're down to like 0.17. Yeah. Let's bring it up on fast idle. That burns as much fuel as going down the highway at 40. And what else do we got here? Not much. And then before I give them back to you, you know, this is such a good deal to have me rebuild your engine. I'm going to just throw a little infomercial out there for me. Because when I get done with these things, I still drive them about 100 miles. But I do this little quick drive up and down the state highway here just to make sure everything's happy-go-lucky. But now I'm going to get in the car, and I won't take the camera with me because I don't need to videotape for 2 hours. But I've got a little run that I go on, and I'll go grab lunch or dinner or whatever, depending on what time it is. And I get 70 to 100 miles on one of these things before you get it back. You're not getting that from a regular mechanic at a regular shop, and there are no Geo shops, you know. So when you can't figure out why you're back at the Geo of your mechanic 5-6 times, even 2 or 3 times, well, you know, it's not right here, it's not right there, because they have no idea how the car operates. You got to get them out and warmed up, get the computer to go into lean trim, which is a whole other deal where you're in a steady throttle state and the car re-leans out because it's part of the mapping in the computer where the really good gas mileage comes in. That's where you start hearing crazy people like me go, you know, I rode to Montana from Seattle or Marysville. It's 583 miles from where I left, and I made it there on 10 gallons of gas, and people are like, that's impossible. You know, and I'm like, well, right along. It's because with lean trim, you got to get there. You got to have that steady foot pressure. You're just there, just perfect. You can feel it go into lean trim. You have to feel it. The car has to run perfect. If you have a motor that's a little low on compression on one cylinder or something, you can't feel it. You don't know where it's at. You know, the little bit of compression that it's low on, that directly translates into horrendous gas mileage. If the engine loses 10% of its efficiency, it loses like 20% of its gas mileage or something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot. And then I hear, you know, I mean, I got people that are run, every one of these cars I get has a burnt valve. So they all run on 2 cylinders. On and some of them have 2 burnt valves, so they run on 1.5 cylinders. And they're still getting 30 miles per gallon, 35. That guy emails me, God, the car's hard to start. The normal, if you're driving Geo, you know what I'm talking about. And it takes me forever to get it fired up, and the gas mileage is down to 30. I think the fuel pump's going out on it. Run a compression check. The motor's dead. That's what's wrong with it. That's what Geo Metro acts like. The fuel pump is out. It's got no power. Like, it's everything but the engine. Run a compression check. You'll find that you've got 45, 70, and 135 for compression, or something like that. Quit dumping oil in the cylinders too. It's just the other day, a gentleman sent me an email that said he ran a compression check and just put a little oil in each cylinder and can't figure out why his car runs bad. Well, with oil in the cylinder, the compression comes up, and I'm looking at the numbers going, well, it should run right. But if you take the oil out of it, it has no compression in 2 cylinders. Okay, that's just my rant, my own little personal deal. Where are we? Can't think of anything else. Seems like a pretty decent car. Jason, just a footnote for you. With this one, my car, because that's what I do on my car, I would drop the 90 gear oil you have in the transmission out. I'd put automatic transmission fluid in there, just dump in the cheap synthetic or the cheap stuff or synthetic, I don't care. And then add like 8 ounces of Prolong engine treatment to it. Just the whole bottle, just dump in there. Spend the $22 at AutoZone or Walmart. The 90 weight gear oil, it's a little drag on the fuel economy. It's just a smidge, but you'll be able to see it in your scan tool. And then next time you buy tires, put studded snow tires in it that don't have the studs put in yet. Big O usually has the best price on them if you're running 13s or even 12s. Try to run 13s or 14s if you can. I like 14s, but sometimes you lose 5th gear too much because the gear ratio is too high. 13s seem to be really, really nice. But if you're a commuter on the freeway and the car's always got one person in it, 14s are worth another mile to a gallon, depending on how you're driving and what speed you're driving at. What else? Oh yeah, ditch these mirrors. You already blocked off the front, but pull the old XFI trick and get rid of the mirrors. And see if you can get that front bumper skirt down and closer to ideally within 1 inch of the ground, but that's not legal, so I think you can go to 3 inches. And a lot of times, guys, when you can try it, sometimes you have luck, sometimes you don't, but they put hose clamps on the strut springs on both sides or 4 sides of the spring and suck the spring down, and that'll bring the car down a little bit. It doesn't change the ride too much, but it's better than getting in there with a torch and making it bounce like it's a Japanese beat-up Honda bouncing down the road. And these rules kind of go for all cars, but in general, Geo is what we're working on. There was something else I was going to mention. Oh, buy a cruise control. I know they're $400, but they're worth it. I've been being a cheapskate for a few years now, but I'm ready to start buying them again. And I think the best place I found for prices is at cruisecontrols.com. And I wouldn't even buy the one that's in the turn signal unit. I'd just buy the push button one with the square block where it's on, off, up and down. Because then because I was going to bring it over, I'm going to mount it on my steering wheel. And that's it. Thanks for the business on this one. Thanks for listening to my rant, everybody. I really hope it helped you Geo guys out there. I know the price of fuel is going crazy and everybody's spending money on them. But we got to slow the speed down. I mean, there's too many people buying Metros going, God, they get 40 miles to the gallon. And you got to slow down to get that really good gas mileage. And you got to buy early Metros. You just got to get your hands on these, 89, 90s, all the way up to 94. It's the same body style. But I'm not a big fan of the 94 fuel injection. But this 93 and older, keep in mind, we call them first, second, third, fourth gen Geos. But inside that, there's a couple, 2 or 3 variations for a couple of years, so there's like 8 different variations. That's why I make everybody bring me an engine that's putting them in themselves. Because I don't want to rebuild one and then you get it back and, oh, the intake's wrong or this or that. Or even just in the 95s where they switched to running dual catalytic converters. You know, it's a whole nother issue. Alright, I'm out like a trout. Thank you very much. Let me turn off my helmet cam. I have no idea what you got to see today.
Look at all your face. Stuck here. So I just feel my sorrow with the words you borrow from your Can't take my eyes off you.